What's going on, y'all? It's your boy, Tribe Delante, here with another Tribe Views episode 4. We done did a whole month of the Tribe Views recap, but this week, this week is all about. I want to do this week kind of different. I want to do this week more so about like what I got going on first, and then we'll do the recap after. Because I'm gonna tell you the recap for this week. It's all about Trapping Tuesdays. We was there. I ain't get to cover the event how I wanted to, but I was there. I participated. I wrote my notes, and I just got to tell you how it was, cause man, it was an event. It was an event. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into it, man. It's your boy Tribe Delante. So let's go ahead and start off with. I want to say about what I had going on this week. This week, man, I made some very good decisions on like where I want to take myself. I want to say I probably put myself in position to, just put myself in position to help my dreams manifest, like putting in the work, putting myself in situations, putting myself in the opportunity to even be around the right people and put myself in the opportunity to just do what I do best, and that's just being myself. So yeah, man, I want to say going to talking about my week. Going to the live Trapping Tuesdays on Tuesday at Buckhead Theater in Atlanta, Georgia. The very first stop that Wall Street did. Man, I want to say it was one of the best experiences I've ever had in my life. Like, and man, that junk had me captivated. It was almost like a movie. Like, just so crazy how to like put it into words, like what really was going on at that spot, man. Cause Trap, man, and he was on a different level. Like, I don't know, man. I feel like some people don't see, like, either some people don't see or some people don't fully acknowledge when they're around, like, brilliant or, like, people who they feel are brilliant or people who they feel like are smart in their own way. Like, I feel like people don't really celebrate that enough. Like, I feel like he's celebrated, but I don't know. Maybe that's just the way I look at, you know, who I want to say, like, leaders in the financial space in the African American community, the black community. I want to say, bro really sticks out. And just like everybody there, like to know full blown that like how these folks move is really through collaboration. Like to go to his event and see almost everybody else who I follow who talk about like everything they talk about when it comes to business, like seeing Nikki there. Oh, I don't want to say her name wrong, but it's Nikki from Instagram. Like she was there helping Trap get footage. I saw Neo there. Neo was there before he did his big thing in Philly with the Neodamus Way Street in West Philly being popped off. Him 500 was there. Just seeing that whole community aspect and knowing like even if it's just collaboration of being in the same room together, like it just it let me see it firsthand. Like people at the top is working together. And if the people at the top is working together, how do people who at the bottom or not at the top or not at the level these at, how do people expect to get to their spot or even higher than them if you're not working together when they working together and they you know they more high tier than the average person. So for them, for me to get in that environment and see like, okay, dude, like these are the people you follow and listening to and trying to figure out how to work this whole content game, and then you go somewhere and you just see them all together like in unison, like even if it's just vibes and just being there together, like cheering each other on, like it goes a long way. So to see people at the top doing it, it just makes me feel even it just makes me realize that it's even that much more important that collaboration is the real, like, collaboration is the true way to get to like the top of the top, because these people is at the top and they working together. So two and two, it just go together. But yeah, excuse me. Excuse me, pardon me. But yeah, just being in there, being in that environment, being around people who actually, yeah, who actually spending their time to get better financially. Like, it's Atlanta. Millions of things you could do on a Tuesday. Folks decided to spend their money to go see somebody talk about making some money. Now, it costs money to make money. So it costs money to find out how to make money. So two and two, same thing. It go together. So it just makes sense to see people like taking this serious. Like, as serious as they can take it in their life, you know what I mean? But yeah, just going to that event, that was a real game changer for my life. Like, it's memories that, that's something you don't forget. And just as a side note, it's real cool that for the most part, I feel like, I don't know, man, I feel like running in the trap again, because it's my second time running into bro. Running into him again. Him, I want to say, bro, remember me. So, I mean, that mean a lot for me too. Just to know, like, me putting myself in these situations, my face is getting remembered. Like, when people remember your face, and then the thing that come behind that is, then they'll find out about your work, then they'll find out about your integrity. So, like, I, hey, first step done, get my face, let people know I'm out here. Ain't nobody gonna know about you if you don't tell people about you, or if you don't put yourself in front of people. So I felt like that was a very important step in my life overall. And that was just Tuesday. Monday we dropped the fourth episode of Tribunal Mondays. We will be dropping the fifth next Monday. Please don't miss out on that. But yeah, that was Monday and Tuesday. And during the week, I finally got my car fixed. So I'm back mobile. Is Ever since I had a car accident like 2, 3 years ago, I have been immobile. I've been out here working, utilizing MARTA to as much as anybody could use it. So basically been, yeah, on the bus for the last 2, 3 years, man, and to finally have myself back in the car, it really brought a clearness to my mind. Like, just to know that, like, the goal that I really set out on after, like, I got out of college, like, hey bro, like, you need to have a car. You need to be able to take yourself where you want to go, when you want to go. It don't matter if you can't do everything you want to do at all times. It matters if you can take your place, take yourself anywhere. So that's how I've always felt about the situation. And to know that I finally got that resolved, it just made me feel a lot better. And it makes me feel even more better knowing, like, now I can really start putting certain routines into place. Like, I'm finna start going to the Mayweather gym. Like, I've been supposed to been there since like last year, but you know, I just, you could say it's kind of like, I don't know, man, because just life issues. We just gonna call it life issues. Just know, just some certain stuff I was dealing with where I was just like, okay, it wouldn't be beneficial for me to get this gym membership now when I can't move how I want to move. So now I got that. I can move forward with that. You know, yeah. So that's really the main thing that was going on during the week. All of that. But today, Sunday, I got out and I went and covered my homie's event. They was at Underground Atlanta. They had like a little concert, and just good vibes, just people, just almost kind of like a, yes, concert slash networking event. I met a decent amount of people. I did some work behind the camera, got some decent angles. The people who I showed, they say they was digging it. That's usually how, I want to say that's usually how my life go when I go out there and I try something. It's usually one or, a couple of people be like, yo, bro, like, this is good. Like, this is good. Like, this ain't, they'll never say, I might have a gym here or there, but it's never like, like, you're not, it's never, you're not needed here. it's always, okay, bro, that's a good shot. I could probably use this, or this is good. So to hear stuff like that, get positive feedback, like that's good. I feel like that just make me feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, because I know the intention of everything I'm doing is to get better. And like, as long as I can make decent enough content now, when I can really put time, extra time behind my content, and not just trying to um basically get myself in a space where my money right, so I ain't got to worry about like rent, how I'm worrying about it now. Because yeah, man, I feel like it's a lot easier to do stuff when your mind is at ease on certain things. So that's one thing I always try to do. I try to get my mind at ease by knocking out like life hard stuff so I can worry about passion hard stuff. Because I feel like life hard stuff will get to you more than passion hard stuff too. Because like it's different saying, oh, I gotta do this for my dreams. I gotta do this for my dreams. But first you gotta do what you gotta do for your rent. Because if your rent ain't paid, how you gonna, it's possible to chase. But me personally, I wouldn't advise that. I wouldn't advise you to chase. I wouldn't advise you to do that. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I just wouldn't advise that. So, all that to say this, put myself in that position also to meet other more people in my community, people who could, you know, around my level, like who can just see me out trying, just see me out working. Like it just does dividends for your name, your face card, just your world value, like what you adding. And I feel like one thing I'm adding, my value that I'm adding is to just helping everybody else doing what they do while I'm doing what I'm trying to do, and that can be achieved through what I'm trying to do. So that's just good for me right there too. So shoot, what's next? Yeah, man, that was basically my week. So man, let me chop it up a little bit about the future, man. Main thing I want to talk about is we got InvestFest coming up, and I'm so intent on like making that a worthwhile experience. Like I need to get up there and just do some good work. Like that's all I'm worried about. I'm worried about going up there, making sure I get good notes, but also making sure I actually step out of my comfort zone a little bit more. Like I feel like that's something that I didn't do when I was at Trap's event. Like even though it's his event, and he's entitled to his content and everything, I still feel like there was a way I could have covered it, like because that's what it's all about. This journalism for me, like just from my background and like what I had to do to get my degree, and I'm determined to use my degree for my business. Like a lot of people use degrees for jobs, or they go to college to get that degree to get a job. But I made that decision very early in college that when I got my journalism degree, especially when they was talking about like how journalism is the lowest, one of the lowest paying jobs, I made it my mission that shoot, when I start my journalism company, we're not going to be we're not going to be known for lack of funds. Like that's just not the way to go. Like, and as I'm doing what I'm doing and I'm learning about content and I'm learning how people pay for certain like yeah, basically like learning like how content gets paid through and like what are the best places to put it and stuff like that. Basically what I'm trying to form is, well, not form, but remember me, I coined this. I coined it first, and if somebody did coin it, they didn't coin it like me. They didn't sit down and say like, this is the way, the new wave of journalism. Like this is how journalism is gonna have to be in the future if you want it to be fully profitable. Like it's gonna have to be content journalism. Like that's basically what it's gonna have to be. Like basically what they do in the newsroom, they need to find out a way, or not. They need to find out a way. I'm gonna find out a way, and I'm implementing myself. Basically, like taking the newsroom and putting it on, not literally the newsroom, but taking your packages, taking your, your news articles and everything and really making content around it instead of just putting out an article or instead of just putting out a video. You put out, you could put out a read option, you know, the video option, or shoot, you can chop up certain parts in it for reels. Like it's like as I'm just staying around it more, I'm understanding like it can be like there's a way for journalism to be done in a profitable way without having to beg the people for like money, without having to, hey, you can't get my magazine if you don't subscribe. Like, well, not magazine, but you can't get my newspaper if you don't subscribe, or you can't open my web page unless you pay $1 a month, or we giving a deal away where we pay $1 for a year and you get like, I be feeling like that's kind of sad because it's like it's certain things you put behind a a paywall. But news, I don't really believe in putting news, certain news behind a paywall unless it's like specialized, limited edition like magazines or something like that. Like, yeah, you pay for that because it's pages, it's a book, it's physical, it's something you could put in your hand. So that'd be something that you could, use for payment. But news articles, making people pay for news articles, yeah. But that's why I am here. That's why I'm here for the space. Because if ain't nobody else gonna do it, I'll do it. Like I'm understanding, I'm understanding the more that I do, the more that I'm learning, the more that I'm listening to these people about how content work, the more I'm listening to these folks about how content can get you paid. It's just making sense that journalism can basically be converted into content. And hey man, if you ever hear after this date, or if it ever becomes popular, remember I said it first. Or if not said it first, I coined it first to where people will probably look at it like, oh man, damn, he might be, he's making some kind of sense. So we'll see how that go. But yeah, InvestFest. All that to say this, InvestFest, I need to be there. I need to, I just need to be there and make an impression. Like let people know I'm in the room. Like if I can just get, excuse me, just some small elevator pitch interviews, like anything, man. Any tidbits I can get from anybody, like I'm going for it. I'm real aggressive in it. I'm aggressive in learning. Like I'm aggressive in just doing my job when I get up there. My job is to learn and to, talk to many vendors who will talk to me and figure out, how we can help each other because these interviews are going to help them too. Don't forget about that. So it's just all about doing my part, adding value where I can add it, and just making shit shake, man. That's really all I can say. So yeah, that's really what I got going on for my week. Well, yeah, what I had going on for my week, and looking forward. We got Invest Fest. I will be there, and what else we got? And I will be joining my gym this month. So I got two more big goals that I got set out for this month. Like in, yeah, we're gonna go from there. Start my gym membership, get these boxing classes in, start really adding some real structure to my days because I know when I get in there and I just start working out in this gym with this boxing, like more than just doing weights, like I'm gonna actually be in there doing boxing drills and stuff, like getting my hands right. Like it ain't gonna do nothing but just make me better, more structured, more disciplined. Because I know that's the main thing I'm really working on right now is discipline, and that's why I've been so proud of myself of dropping these two videos for this whole month. Like I've been messing up on my weekend shows, but I still get it done. Like I be trying to gas myself out of it, but still I turn around and I still get it done. And and the more I just get it done, the more it won't be a problem. So yeah, I say that to say this, man. If you still feeling defeated because you ain't started something or you ain't did something during the week that you haven't done yet, don't be afraid to still do it and put it out. Like, hey, don't forget, man. They used to say this in school as much as we hated, school and academia. It's better to turn something in and get a 60 than to not turn nothing in and get a 0. So you do with that what you will. Now, that was, my week. We started this week talking about me. Now we're going to talk about, I want to talk about the event more in full. I want to pull some quotes from Trap because I feel like some of the stuff he was talking about that day was just exquisite. And that's the best way to put it. It was exquisite. It was immaculate. It was very, very, what's the best way to put it? Yeah, man, he was trapping. We trapping. We trapping. Shout out to the Trapper. But yeah, man, Trapper Tuesdays, it was episode 54, the Recession tour, the beginning. It was basically like, yeah, basically his first time doing a live Trapping Tuesdays. Like, and not live as in, live, because he go live on YouTube when he do it, but to be in a space and to basically have it all the way filled up. Like, bro had it booming. And that's basically, slight brain fart. Yeah, the Recession tour. He started. Yeah, it was basically his first live, and man, it was definitely worth it. I'm glad that he chose Atlanta to be his first spot, and I'm glad that I made sure I was there, and I was in the front row. I had one of the best seats. Like I had, hey man, definitely worth it. Like that's something you're not gonna forget. But yeah, the main thing he started off with was he was talking to us about like how main thing is us as a people. We need to start negotiating a new contract with success. We need to start looking at success different. Like, and we need to start measuring success different. Like the things we use to measure success now, most of the ratchet stuff. I mean, like, because let's just be honest, it's not a lot of people who really talk about true wealth. I mean, people talk about riches, people talk about nice things, but people don't talk about having money, having enough money for 50 years or being able to put in the stuff to where you can do ratchet stuff for 50 years because you got enough money to do it. Like, bro, really, oh yeah, just how I feel, man. I feel like bro really, really comes at it the right way when he talk about like just wealth and investing and understanding like the importance of it. Like, we gotta understand, like, most of us out here now basically financial prey. Like, you ain't nothing but a walking bank. That's basically how some of these companies and even some people, like, that's how they treat you, man. They treat you like financial prey. They know they can be like, hey, man, this junk costs this. And they know 9 times out of 10, somebody gonna pay it. And what happened? 9 times out of 10, somebody do pay it. So they end up still charging them prices because it's like, hey, I got somebody to buy it. There's somebody else out there who will buy it. And you know how that goes. So yeah, he was talking about like how we need to leave from being a prey to being a predator. And the only way to be a predator is you gotta hunt. And when you go on a hunt, you gotta win. I mean, well, not win, but yeah, you gotta win. When you hunting to get food. Because if you don't get food, you don't eat. If you don't eat, you starve. And if you starve, you die. So basically, it's all about your financials, like not being food out there. You want to be the person to get the food. You don't want to be financial food. Like that's not what you want to be. And he was talking about like how the wild dog. I said, yeah, he had basically, yeah, what would you call this? An antidote, an antidote, antidote. I'm saying it so wrong. Basically, he said E.T. had gave him an analogy. E.T. Eric Thomas, hip hop preacher. You should know who that is. If not, look him up. But yeah, Trapper was talking about like how E.T. was telling him like, yo man, the wild dog is the number one predator in the wild. Is because they move as a group, like as a unit. Like I think oh, I'm mad I didn't write down the number, But I remember, oh, and it's crazy because it's on the internet too. But nah, I can't keep my mind on that. But basically, they were saying like they move like in high numbers, like upwards to, and I know it's probably higher than this, but 20 plus. Now imagine 20 plus wild dogs pulling up on you. You're not winning. It don't matter what you got, even a grenade. It's probably still be three, four, five of them still left. Like it's not enough shrapnel enough to go around for 20 dogs. Probably not. I don't know. I mean, I ain't no war expert, but I also know like, man, a grenade will knock off a lot, but is it gonna knock off the whole 20? I don't think so. But yeah, man, they was talking about like how the number one predator in the wild is the wild dog. It's because they move in numbers. And it's not about a one on one. It's about a team on one. Like if it's one gazelle or two gazelles, and that's enough to feed 20 wild dogs, and all 20 of us pull up, we're gonna win. Like not like if we can counter you off, do what we gotta do, the wild dogs are gonna win. So, that's just making sense right there with that. And yeah, he was talking about like how there needs to be honor and going to hunt. Like we need to have honor, integrity. Like when we going out and looking at these companies and trying to become the financial predator that we need to be, because it's all about in terms of America, in terms of making money, in terms of wealth building. It's all about being a predator when it comes to investing, because you don't want to invest in the wrong company and get your money taken away. Because then at that point, I don't want to say it's worse than the person who didn't invest, but investing stupidly or investing ignorantly is probably not the best way to go. Well, ain't no probably. It's definitely not the place to go when, there's so many other ways you could do with your money. Like at that point, nah, because I don't even want to say that. Shoot, I don't even know. See, and there be points like this where I wish I had somebody to bounce ideas off of. But we'll get to that later. But yeah, man, having honor and going to hunt, knowing that like you out there looking for your survival, like out there looking for ways to make your survival easier, out there looking for ways to make you know your survival fruitful. Like you don't want to just hunt for scraps. You want to hunt for big game. You want big game. You don't want no small fish. You want a bass. Like you don't want, trying to think of something else that's smaller than big. I feel like that's the best one. We just gonna leave it at fish right there. Like you don't want no regular old fish. You want a big red snapper. You want a big bass. Like you want something that's got some weight on it. Like you want a real fish. You don't want no fish. Feel what I'm saying? And yeah, and from there he was talking about like how, I think he said you need to have 4 different portfolios. Please forgive me if, yeah, it's 4 different portfolios you want to try to have when you diversifying everything and getting your money right. You want to have a Roth IRA portfolio, a primary portfolio that you usually hold stuff in there for 5 to 10 years. So this gonna be your long-term hold. You're basically your long-term swing holds for your portfolio stuff. You're gonna be really dumping money in for it to sit for a while. Dividend portfolio, like have you set up dividend, portfolio straight for all your dividend stocks. So when you're looking at it, you can be like, okay, these for a fact are all the stocks that I'm getting dividend payments from. So then you can, look at your cash flow and figure out if it's quarterly, monthly, or annually. I think them the three. It's quarterly, monthly, and annually. Like those are the 3 dividends. Oh, I better not be getting misinformation. Please look that up. I will also look that up when it comes time for the next one. I wish I could right now, but I ain't got no device where I could just search something on me right now. So yeah, right now, hold me to that. And if I'm wrong, I'm gonna say I'm wrong. But if I'm not, I was right. But yeah, basically like yeah, those are the three dividends. You got monthly, quarterly, and you got annually. So basically, and then after that, you got a recession portfolio. He said this is basically for stuff like when we in a situation like we is now, when just the market just looking recession like. So you need to be able to find like a portfolio where like you're taking advantage of, what's going on. That's basically how I look at the recession portfolio, like taking advantage of whatever's going on, like in down markets or, like, ooh, I feel like there's a better way to explain this. But yeah, just basically taking advantage of what the market's giving you. Like more so about news and what's going on, like overall, instead of just like, damn, I feel like I'm rambling. Oh Lord, let me. Ooh, I'm gonna have to go back and look at that one over again and see this. Hey man, we just get better, cause ooh we, dang, cause I don't want to. I just know that recession portfolio was just, it was more different than the other three because it was more about taking advantage of what's going on in the market. He was explaining like how you need to have different mindsets for all your different portfolios because all your portfolios are used for like different, for different uses. Like they're all for different ways of making money. Like you got long term value increasing in your stocks, making money. You got dividends, compound interest going back into the stock, making money. You got, yeah, like just them two things, like being able to figure out which ones is, for your long term holds, which ones is just for the season that you in, aka, recession. Like how now it's certain stuff that you would take advantage of like during this time that you wouldn't take advantage of for 5 to 10 years. Like it'd just be a company to ride for the next couple of years, like stuff like that. Like and just hammering home like you need to realize and fully focus on the fact that all of these portfolios are for different things. So you need to always remember to move correctly or, however your portfolio demands that you move. And let's see right here. This is a quote from Trap. Quote, when the reason we purchased it no longer exists, that means it's time to sell. Like, don't be stubborn when it comes to stocks. Like if like I'm trying to oh yeah, we'll just go with the easiest stock to talk about, iPhone. So basically the reason we purchased it no longer exists. Like the reason you would purchase the Apple stock is because, I mean, Apple is Apple. They basically the number one country in the world right now. They sell iPhones every year, even though, as we've seen that they just talked about, iPhone sales are down. So that's been causing Apple to look a little crazy because that was the catalyst. That's the main thing. That's also one of the main things Trap was talking about too. You got to understand what is the catalyst of your stock. Like what is the catalyst that makes the stock move up or down? And the main thing, well, yeah, the main thing for Apple is iPhone sales. Yeah, sales of in every other department is good. It's good for business. But the catalyst of the Apple stock is iPhone sales. And over the next 5 to 10 years, we're gonna see if they're gonna, start pivoting because even with everything going on, like if iPhone sales are slowing down and they see that, and it really just depends what happens over the next couple of years. Because if iPhone sales keep slowing down, that may mean the stock may slow down, but it's still, still a good stock like Apple. And then they finna get into augmented reality. So we don't know if that could end up being the catalyst in the next 5 to 10 years. So, and hey, that's why they say the stock game is a long game. Because if Apple does, pivot correctly with, their catalyst right now being iPhone sales and it being down, if they pivot correctly and maybe change, get it to the point where the catalyst of, the catalyst of the stock is something different, then Apple could be very intriguing to, I mean, they've already been intriguing to watch. So Like that's just something to keep your eyes open on. But yeah, that's the main thing he was talking about. Like just don't be stubborn. Like if there ever does come a time where Apple does miraculously fall off the face of the earth, don't be afraid to take your money out of the stock and move on. Because at that point, like the reason you purchased it does no longer exist. They're no longer the number one company in the world. They're no longer the number one seller of cell phones. Like if this just so happens to happen and the stock not looking good and you know everything we went over the past couple of weeks about when you know certain parameters are being met, well negative parameters are being met, that it's time to get out of stock. That you don't need to be stubborn. You don't need to you know, have your emotions too much attached to it. You need to be able to look at it and be like, okay, it's did what it's gonna do. It made me some money. I need to go ahead and pull out and move on. I feel like that's important, man. You got to be able to cut your losses. That's with anything, not just stocks and business. That's with life. That's with relationships. Like you, when some are L, you got to take that L. You got to move on. Yeah, so I feel like that was very important. He was talking about, and then one of the one of the main things he talked about. Excuse me. One of the main things he talked about after that was how August and September are the two worst months in the stock market. Excuse me, are the two worst months like in the market. Period. Like it's been like that. I think they want to say minimum the last 20 years. Like August, September have always been the worst months out of the year when you're dealing in the markets. So just be on the lookout for that, especially if you're a new investor coming in, like and you know you just getting your feet wet. You know, don't be surprised if not everything is so peachy during these 2 months because these are the worst months in stock market. But even though these are, you know, the worst 2 months in stock market, if you looking at long term holds, like you need to be looking for, you need to be on the lookout for, especially stuff that's been, you know, high recently, you know, stuff that you basically missed the run on. You want to be looking for some pullbacks to some decent areas to where you could possibly get in. Like that's really the main thing I would think about with where my brain is right now. That's the main thing I would be thinking about. Hearing that August, September is like two of the worst months in the market. That means it's gonna be a time for certain stuff to drop, and for you know, it's basically a time for everybody to be like, hey, it's time to get in right here. If you can find some on a discount, like especially a discount during the worst 2 months, like you're bound to be able to make a nice little move and like get you something that'll make you feel excited about investing. Especially like if you know, it's down months. Let's just say it's a stock that's at $200 and it dropped down to, I want to say 150. Say it dropped down to 150 and you just so happen to get in at 150. And then after the two worst months, let's just say it may even drop, you know, even lower after you got it in the 130. You know, it looked kind of ugly. But then after August, September, we in October. When we get in October, let's just say it shoot up to 250. Now you're gonna be like, well, dang, you know, the 150 I put in just became 250. I just made $100 just because I was in the right place at the right time. Just because I took advantage of a down market, you know, when they said it was gonna be down. It almost sounds like I'm telling you, man. The more I get more immersed in the financial world, it almost be seeming like some of the bad stuff be playing. So like certain people can get more favorable positions. But hey, we ain't gonna go down that rabbit hole. So yeah, two worst months in the market. Um, and let's see what else I want to get in here and talk about. Um, oh yeah. Then last thing I really wanted to pull from that he talked about like how basically the top four ETFs right now are like all up. Like, and that's basically ETF is like, oh, they said is something. something traded funds, but it's basically like you put your money into funds that basically get these stocks in other companies. So instead of just putting your money in one company, you put it into basically a mix, almost like a melting pot of like stocks. But instead of just being, tied to a stock, you tied to a fund. So you basically will be putting your money towards like all the other billions of dollars that's in that fund. And when you put your money in there, like you eating with everybody else in the fund instead of just eating by yourself on a single stock. So yeah, man, when he was talking about these ETFs, he talked about AIQ. AIQ is up 46% for the year. WTAI is up 41% for the year. IRBO is up 34% for the year. And ROBT is up 29% for the year. And that's just 4 ETFs right there. And we ain't talking about like those are good returns. Like even if you just put, a little money in at the beginning of the year, like you would be up decently. Like even, let's use the easiest explainer, which I think is like whenever you want to talk about money and stuff, like I feel like the best thing to use is like $100,000 because any percentage is basically like 1,000. So like let's just say you put $100,000 in the AIQ, 46% up, you at 146,000, bruh. And you gotta think, bruh. Like imagine like big money, like what big money looks like when you ultra diversify. Like imagine having just a million and you put 100,000 in each one of these. Yeah, like you split your 400,000 up between all of these. Like, dude, you would be what's that? 46,000, 41,000, 34,000, 29,000. That's basically an extra 100,000. That's 100. No, hold up. Yeah, I'm gonna do the math. Give me a second. You do that one. Alright, 15. That's 150,000. Yeah. Yeah, so if you would have split your money up correctly, 400,000 between these 4 ATFs, you would basically make 150,000 just from your money being in those places. Bro, my mind just like to know like that's how it's not simple, that not everybody gonna make the right call, but let's just say you only made two of them, the 46 and the 41. Being able to put, your 100,000 in both of them and to be able to see them give you 46,000, 41,000, like knowing you made 47,000, no, not 47, excuse me, knowing you made $87,000 just from putting your money in a spot for somebody else to use it, like basically your money working for you and then give you 40, like, and that's without no work. I mean, yeah, you had to put in the research work, the knowledge work to figure out where to put your money at, but you didn't have to clock in to make any of that money. And that's damn near 100,000. And that's just because you put some money in a place for it to be used that wasn't a bank account, that wasn't a checking account, a savings account. Like you put it into an ETF. It just makes sense. Like the more I'm around it, the more I consume it, the more I just pay attention to it. It just makes sense that this is the way to like this is what you should be doing with your money. Like even if you saving money, like you need to find out how to save your money in stocks and ETFs and everything that these people is basically going hard to give the masses the information. Y'all gotta understand, man. Especially the way investing is and just the way life is, bro. Some of this information, bro, these people don't have to give it out, bro. These people can just be rich and just chill and live by themselves. and not have to bother anybody, not have to deal with trolls. Like they could really just be out living alone, like just being rich, dolo. But they choosing to give the information to the masses because they know it's gonna be a couple people out there that actually pay attention, implement what they talking about, and realize that it makes sense. They gonna realize just like them that, bruh, at some point it just makes sense to do it this way. Especially it's like life is a video game, bro. Just like my first YouTube video. Like one of my first YouTube videos. Life is a game, bro. You gotta find out how to play it. And if this is the way to play the game, this is the way to play the money game, people need to start playing it. People need to stop being like, oh bro, the money game is not fair, or the money game is not made for me. Like, hey bro, you can you can complain or you can, do something. Like even me. Like this coming from somebody who spent 7 years in college just to get out and realize my degree is worth more to myself and what I'm trying to do later on in my life than these companies telling me I need 2, 3, 4, 5 years experience, even though I got a bachelor's degree. Like, go fucking figure. But yeah, man, that's the main thing. And he really went extra crazy on his trap stuff. I even got something else. I'm gonna drop this in there. Trap. If you ever see this video, bro, and you want me to take it down, just let me know. I will, but until that day comes, hopefully it don't. I need my people to see this. Like if you listen to this on the podcast, I will be showing this on the video format. I know it's kind of late in the video, but you need to see this. This is the most important thing you need to know that bro gave us access to at Trapping Tuesdays, because this right here is the way to full blown generational financial freedom. This right here, the legacy map. I held it up for a minute because I want you to be able to stop it or, screenshot it, especially if you made it this far. I want you to be able to really see this right here because, hold on, yeah, man, it's all about, I'm pretty sure it's crazy enough you've probably heard this on YouTube or, Instagram, where people be talking about like how you would really want to set up your trust and your LLC. But like here it is again. Once again, Trap is basically showing you like, yo, you start with your trust at the top, and then you basically break off your LLCs over here, and you basically have one LLC that's gonna be your holding that you put all your other LLCs under, and that's a whole bevy of tax implications, stuff like that. So when you see stuff like this, or you even see this right now, you're talking to, make sure you talk to your tax folks about this. Like, don't just go in blind and just trying to do it off this alone. Like, no, you need to take this or a picture of this to your tax office or to your tax professional with you, so y'all can actually go through figuring out how you can set all of this up without messing up, because you don't want to get audited by the IRS. You don't want to fight with the IRS. We'll leave it at that. So yeah, man, how you want to set up your LLCs, how you want to set up your pension, and just all these things right here. This is some top secret stuff. I paid good money for this. And the first thing I thought to do after I put it in my memory bank was to give it to my people. So, I hope I provided some decent value. We're coming in around 50 minutes. Yeah, this one was a little longer than I expected or wanted to be, but hey, man, it is what it is. When we out here getting better, when we out here trying, when we out here trying to just build these habits of just doing what I need to do, doing what I want to do, and making it work how I'm supposed to make it work. So, man, thank you for coming out. Thank you for listening. Even if you skip through, you go through trying to find parts, or you just so happen to let it all run in the background. I just want to thank you for making it this far. Until next time, peace, my brother. Peace, my sister. Enjoy the night. Enjoy the morning. Enjoy whenever you saw this. Let's win the day. Let's win the week. Let's win the month. Let's win the year. Trap Delante, I'm out of here.